About how many people get concussions every year?
I don't know.
That
would
be a
good topic for you guys to research online.
We should, yeah.
I just wanted to see.
Yeah.
Like the answer we got was more than 400,000 kids are sent to the ER due to brain injury.
Every year?
Yes.
Well, that's a lot, isn't it? Well, and some of that is because things are fairly conservative. If you just end up getting a moment of being dazed, then they don't do anything more. If you have a loss of consciousness, or if there are some problems with memory, I think the routine is to send them off to the ER for a full evaluation.
Now this is a question that we've already answered, but we want to see like a different perspective.
Okay.
What are the regulations for concussions in football?
Well, there actually is a full protocol, and to give it to your best, I could end up printing it out for you, but it includes, let's say, if you have a concussion in the game, you're out of the game, for at least a week, kind of depends on the intensity. If you then have a second concussion, you're out, you need clearance from the doc, and I believe it's 3 months before you can actually get back into contact sports. You're more than 2 concussions, and then you're out for the entire season. And I think the best way of doing this would be to have you actually see a protocol, and I can get that to you.
How many regulations are there for concussions in football? Like, are there a lot or only a little bit?
There's just only a single set of regulations, and each state ends up having their own. This in turn is in response to some sports medicine guidelines that have been developed with neurologists. So one set of guidelines for the state of Hawaii that pretty much everybody is obliged to follow.
How many sports can you get a concussion from?
Well, I think that would be more a comment of, thinking about all the sports in which one might end up getting a blow to the head. The bad things would be boxing, which is, again, that's the business of boxing. So they don't do it regularly in high school. To football, which would be very, very high-level incidents. Less common would be the non-contact sports, tennis and things like that. But, you could still end up falling or bumping against something or someone and get a concussion. So I'd say, virtually any sport that involves movement and the possibility of a fall or collision puts you at risk for a concussion.
Why and how do people get concussions?
Well, the why would be they run into something or something runs into them. And the how, I guess, is the same thing. Basically it's a collision with something or someone hard enough to alter momentarily brain function.
Now, I did a little bit of research over the past couple weeks, and one of the research things that I found was that if you get struck by something or like a whiplash, your brain will hit your skull, and that will cause a concussion. Is that true?
Probably what you were reading about is something called the contra coup injury. Does that sound familiar? Did you run into that?
Yeah. I think I did.
Okay. And what happens there is that you end up getting hit, and it makes sense that, okay, you get hit there and there might be some injury to the underlying brain. But what can happen sometimes is that, you get hit here, and the brain actually, if you kind of put your fingers in it, is really, really soft, almost kind of a thick jello or firm jello kind of consistency. So you get hit here, and the brain actually kind of then moves to the other side. Kind of, there's a jolt, and sometimes the injury will be on the other side because the brain gets shoved against the opposite inside aspect of the skull. I think that's probably what it was talking about.
Okay. What is one solution to concussion?
Well, never go out and do anything and watch TV all day, which is not a very realistic solution.
Solution.
One wants to provide protection as best possible, and that would classically go even with long-term helmets that the football players are wearing. And they're trying to develop better technologies. Another way is changing the rules of the sport. And to be honest, I'm not really familiar with the details, but just in the last year, NFL has changed some of the ways in which the games are refereed, so that you shouldn't be kind of just running into somebody with your head.
Yeah.
So changing it so there's a little bit less frequent activities that put the head at risk.